Hi guys. So I know it's not my day, but I kind of just felt like making a video today, and this is something that I've been thinking about doing for a really long time, and I've just decided I'm gonna do it. So, like Crash Course and SciShow, I kind of just felt like teaching you guys something. And there's not much in the world that I know more about than musical theater. Maybe Disney. But I'm a nerd. So today, let's learn about Jonathan Larson's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical, Rent. Woo! Rent is a two-act, sung-through rock opera about 8 friends living in New York City during the AIDS crisis of the 80s and early 90s. It features such famous songs as Seasons of Love, I'll Cover You, Goodbye Love, Vivo M, and the show's finale, which features the tagline of the show that kind of made it famous, No Day But Today. Mark, Roger, Mimi, Maureen, Collins, Angel, Benny, and Joanne are characters that have paved the way for other rock musicals that I love, and this show holds a special place in my heart. It's one of my favorites when I was in high school, still one of my favorites, and I love it. Love it or hate it, Rent is a musical that defined a generation, so let's get to it, shall we? Jonathan Larson was born in White Plains, New York in 1960 to Jewish parents. He grew up with an aptitude for music, and he played tons of different instruments, including the piano. He went on to earn his BFA from Adelphi University in New York, and spent a couple of years after he graduated working at the Moondance Diner and trying to write a great musical, which is probably a familiar concept to you if you've seen John's other show, Tick, Tick, Boom. Before Rent was realized, John was busy. He wrote a bunch of stuff, including what became his other musical, Tick, Tick, Boom, in his early career. He was also a performer, and fun fact, was in one of my favorite Canadian theatrical masterpieces, Billy Bishop Goes to War, during his early career. I didn't know that till now, and that's exciting to me. Anyway, John's ultimate goal was to write a rock opera that would bring musical theater to the MTV generation. His words, not mine. But I think it's a dream that he's managed to achieve. Starting in 1988, John began to collaborate with Billy Aronson and Ira Weitzman to write a musical update of the Puccini opera La Boheme. It was a story that so well fit this generation. It was a bunch of bohemian friends coping with disease and with life, and it was something that John knew, so he went with it. John came up with the title Rent himself and based many of the characters and plot and settings on his friends and his life in New York's East Village in the early 1980s and 90s. Things like the illegal wood-burning stove, him dating a dancer who frequently left him for other men but ultimately left him for a woman, became major plot points in the musical. Rent received its first stage reading at the New York Theater Workshop in 1993. The show that was being workshopped there wasn't really the musical that we know now. For one thing, it was ridiculously long, and it featured tons of songs that have since disappeared from the score. Like 22 of them. It's crazy. Following this reading, John, Michael Greif, who is the director, and the producers toiled over a 3-year collaborative editing process. I don't completely understand what that means, but at the end of that 3 years, they managed to pull out something that is the Rent we know now. The show received its first production at the New York Theater Workshop in 1996. It was to preview on January 25th, 1996, which is now a red-letter day for fans of Rent. On January 25th, 1996, the morning after the final dress rehearsal of the off-Broadway production of Rent, Jonathan Larson passed away from what has now been determined to be an undiagnosed aortic aneurysm that resulted from an undiagnosed condition that he didn't know he had. The first preview of the show was cancelled, and the off-Broadway cast performed I'll Cover You at John's funeral. The run of the show went on as scheduled and played to endless sold-out audiences and overwhelmingly positive feedback. It just sucks that John didn't get the chance to see his show and the amazing impact it's had. Rent transferred to the Nederlander Theater on Broadway in April 1996, with a lot of the original off-Broadway cast, which included people like Adam Pascal, Anthony Rapp, and Idina Menzel. The show went on to be a massive success and played the Nederlander for nearly 13 years and has since played all over the world. It became what John had hoped, a rock opera for the young masses, and it was called The Hair of the 90s, which I may make a video about hair if that's something you guys are interested in. And like Hair, it explored many topics which were considered controversial, and it was kind of one of the first musicals of its kind, considering other rock operas that had preceded it were shows like Jesus Christ Superstar, so it was definitely something new and people liked that. It won numerous Tony Awards and Drama Desk Awards, including Best Musical, and then in 1996 it won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, which, fun fact, Rent is one of only 8 musicals ever to win the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, which may seem like quite a few until you consider the fact that the award's been given out since 1910. And since then, the only other musical that's won it was Next to Normal in 2010, which is another video that might happen. The show was made into a movie in 2005, which featured most of the original Broadway cast, and it brought the show to a wider audience. Rent closed on Broadway in September 2008 after 5,121 performances, making it one of the longest-running Broadway musicals of all time. And Silly Me was in New York the week before it closed, and I didn't see it. I justify it by saying I had seen the tour in my hometown a couple of months earlier, but this is a decision I think I'll regret forever. I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins. Right now feels like a good moment for a Rent sing-along.
How do you write a song when the chords sound wrong? Well, they once sounded right and rare. When the notes are sour, where is the power you once had to ignite the air? 100 roses of life that we've chosen. How we gonna pay? How we gonna pay? How we gonna pay? That is rent.
Alright, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. If you hated it, let me know, because I might do more of these, because it's something I really enjoy doing and talking about. I guess maybe Kevin will see you tomorrow? Sure. Bye.